Oh, hello, friends. It's me, Mr. Prof, coming to you from sunny Santa Monica, California. I want to show you a crayon. Let's check this out. Boop, 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 boop. Ah, there it is. There is my crayon. It's actually my purple crayon, one of my favorites. There's the actual crayon, and that's the word crayon. Crayon. One crayon. So I use the word crayon when I'm talking about just one single crayon all by itself. But what if I had a bunch of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5. So I wouldn't say that I have 5 crayon. I would say that I have 5 crayons with an S on the end. And this is something we do in English. If you add an S onto the end of a word, it usually means you have more than one. I have 1 crayon, or I have 5 crayons. There's a bunch of different words where we do this. For example, bloop, 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 bloop. Check a look at this. I can say that I have 1 truck. I have 1 truck, or I have 3 trucks with an S on the end. I have 1 ant, or I have 3 ants. You can go to a park, or you can go to 2 different parks. The park might have a swing, or it might have 2 swings. Now, not every word does this. For instance, if we said fish, fish can mean you have 1 fish, or it can mean you have a whole bunch of different fish. Fish is both plural and singular. It means 1 or it means 2. And there's a few other examples, but more often than not, if you're talking about more than one thing, you're talking about putting an S on the end to make it more than one. Car, cars. Dog, dogs. Cat, cats. Lion, lions. Chair, chairs. Bunch of different examples. Well, we have been making observations, meaning more than one, about things that are living and things that are not living. And we said, you remember these rules from last week, we said that something is alive if it does all of these things. Something is alive if it needs food and water, right? Food and water. If it breathes, if it grows, and if it can move. And we talked about how we know a plant is alive. Well, a plant is alive because it needs food and water. And for food, plants actually use sunlight for food. They use sunlight to make food. They don't eat like hamburgers or French fries, but they take the sunlight and they use that to make food. And plants do breathe, right? They don't have lungs, but they do have little holes on their leaves where they absorb oxygen. So plants breathe. They definitely grow, right? They start off as little tiny seeds, and then they become big plants. And plants do move, right? They can't walk or fly or swim, but they can turn their leaves to face the sun. So a plant does all these things. Well, what would happen if a plant didn't get food and water? What if at some point you just stopped giving a plant food and water? What would that look like? Well, it might look a little something like this. Right over here, plant 1, that's the plant that we were looking at last week. That was a healthy plant. That's a plant that got plenty of food and water and air. Plant 2 over here did not get enough food and enough water. It got plenty of air, but somehow it got put into like a little box where there wasn't any sunlight that could get to it. and nobody watered it. So it didn't get any water or sunlight. It didn't get any food. It didn't get any water. What do you notice about these two plants? What's different about them? Well, I notice that the plant looks kind of droopy, right? Plant 1, its leaves are all facing up. And plant 2, the leaves are kind of like, they're kind of droopy. There's actually a word, wilted, that gardeners will use. So it looks really droopy. Also, the color of the leaves. Look at that. Some of the leaves are kind of a yucky color. They're not all pretty green. So that plant did not get enough food or enough water, and it has changed the way it looks. It doesn't look as healthy. Ooh, how can I get this menu to go away? That's really weird. I don't know if you can see that on your screen. So your job today, we just observed, we just made a couple of observations about these plants. We're going to record in our Living Things notebook, we're going to record what we observed about this plant. And we're going to write this sentence. We're going to say, living things need food and water. The plant did not get food and water. It looks, and then we're going to describe what we see. So we're going to draw a picture of this plant, our sad plant. We're going to draw a picture of what it looks like, and we're going to write how it looks. We're going to describe what we observed. You could say, it looks wilted, it looks sad, it looks unhappy, it looks sick. There's a bunch of different words you could use to record your observations. So that's going to be our job today. Now, if you did that in class this morning, great, you're done. Don't worry about it. Just make sure you take a picture and send it to me or Miss Dana. If you haven't done it yet, now's your time. Now's your chance. In your Living Things notebook, which we made last week, you're going to draw a picture of our sad plant, and you're going to complete this sentence, or these couple sentences. You're going to write, the living thing needs food and water. The plant did not get food and water. It looks, and then you're going to describe how it looks. And you can have your learning buddy help you spell any words that you don't know. Also, if you haven't yet, please check out the What is Alive Read Aloud. It's a pretty cool little story, and it explains, again, how we decide if something is alive or not alive. There you go. All right, friends, you know what to do. It's time to get to it. Prof out.